What are my 7 best tips for healing autoimmune skin diseases? Let's talk about it. Welcome back to Adamimmune, the channel all about helping you improve your autoimmune health naturally. And as many of you know, I have HS, Hidradenitis Suppurativa. I was stage 3 before I found remission. So I wanted to give some tips that directly correlate to that particular disease, HS. If you don't have that, if you just have another autoimmune skin disease or other skin issues, this will also be helpful to you. So hopefully you enjoy these tips, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already to this channel. Let's get to it. Number 1 is heat sensitivity. Now this really affects a lot of different areas in our lives, especially during the summer. Now some of us are going to be more predisposed to this than others because of certain environmental factors, and our bodies are a little bit different, right? So I will get to that a little bit later. But as far as heat sensitivity, this can come down to a lot of different factors. So I recommend you don't take hot showers. Hot showers are not going to be great for skin issues overall. So maybe take a lukewarm shower starting out and then ease into a cold shower near the end, or at least finish with cold water, or at least cool water, okay? For heat sensitivity, this even affects me when I'm like sitting down for too long, even sitting for hours at a time. So I get up, I walk around, I cool off. Like, the human body wasn't meant to sit down all day, right? That's a problem because of our modern first world issues. Skin rubbing. Now this comes into play. A lot of people already know this one. When your skin rubs together, that creates heat and that can cause a flare. Again, along with that, you want to also wear loose clothing. Not too loose, but you want to make sure your clothing isn't super tight, and because that will cause a lot of unnecessary friction, which will cause heat and cause you to flare up. After you've been flaring in certain areas of your body, areas that are very common that break out, right? Your body is used to breaking out, and your skin is actually thinner there. It is going to be more sensitive, and it is going to be, like I said, predisposed to breaking out in that area, in certain creases in your body. Just be aware of that and make sure you don't have a lot of rubbing in that areas, okay? So hopefully in the summer months you're using your fan. Having a fan on you at night really seems to help, I feel like. I also use like a cold pack that I get, I think it's called the Coldest Water. Maybe I'll leave a link in the description where you can find that, but it really does help me just to stay cool, and it helps me get to sleep easier as well. And of course you want to stay hydrated, because if you don't do this, your body is naturally going to get hotter and hotter over time. So that's kind of a natural way to acclimate and just keep your body at a balanced temperature. Number 2, stress. Okay, so stress is completely impossible to completely eliminate out of our modern worlds today, right? But we want to begin to lower that stress as much as possible. I remember hearing from this dude, he was talking about how he found remission like me, but except he didn't do anything else except just add meditation to his lifestyle, which is great. Some people can do very little and you know, maybe find remission or huge improvements. Some of us have to go a bit further though, right? I don't really meditate, I guess, because my mind just never stops 24/7. The only time it does kind of take a break is when I'm watching TV. I guess you could call that my meditation time. I don't really know, but whatever you do to relax, make sure you do that every single day. Take time for you. Make sure you cut out as many unnecessary stressors as you possibly can in your environment. That includes people, that includes, you know, work. Don't overwork yourself. Don't over-exercise. That can cause a lot of stress. I'm talking about physical and mental stress as well, guys. Now, when it comes to physical stress, there are foods that cause unnecessary stress as well. Which leads me to number 3. Inflammatory triggers. Now we want to reduce stress, right? But sometimes there's other things that cause stress, like our diet. Now when it comes to diet, there are a few common triggers. I'll just name 3 that will trigger most people, and that is, the top one is obviously sugar. Wow, cut out sugar. Groundbreaking stuff, right? The second one is dairy, and the third one is nightshades. If you don't know what a nightshade is, make sure you watch all my other videos on diet, but it's basically peppers, potatoes, tomatoes, things like that, nightshades. Everything in that family. Oh, which also includes tobacco and ashwagandha. So a lot of people take ashwagandha to lower stress, but it's actually nightshade, so it might be really bad for you, okay? So make sure, just because something is natural doesn't mean you should be taking it, alright? And of course, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, I quit smoking for 3 months and I didn't see any improvement. Well, that's because sometimes, like I said, meditation helps for some people, but some people have to go a lot further and cut out a lot of other inflammation and stress in their environment or their life, right? Sometimes just cutting out smoking won't be enough. let's say it's not contributing to your inflammation in your body and helping your HS get worse. You probably shouldn't smoke anyway, right? So kind of a moot point. I don't know, I hear this sometimes, I'm like, oh, smoking's not bad. It is, alright? I think we know that by now. But there are other things that cause inflammation again. But any drugs, alcohol, now there's a lot of things like temporary pain relievers, NSAIDs, you know, anti-inflammatory pills and things like that. Now, over-the-counter or prescription. Now, those things might help temporarily, but they're not going to help you long-term. They might actually make it worse. So maybe you try some more natural things. Like I said, not ashwagandha, but maybe some fresh ginger root, turmeric, natural anti-inflammatory foods to help you. I'm not saying these things are superfoods by any means, but they can help, okay? Number 4, exercise. Now, while exercise is very important and actually can help you be more resilient to stress over time, it really does. It builds up your immune system, but doing too much too early can actually set you back, alright? So while I know a lot of you actually say that it improves you, and it really does, but for a lot of you that don't have that resilience and your immune system is compromised, you want to just ease back, alright? Or at least start out. Like a lot of you maybe aren't exercising, maybe you should add just some light walking, alright? But again, this comes back to heat sensitivity and rubbing together. You want to make sure you're not wearing those really compressive clothing or too tight. Make sure it's a little loose, but again, you don't want your skin rubbing together, right? So there's kind of a balance there. You're going to have to find what works for you. But I find that I started out walking for probably a year, and that helped tremendously, and I built up a little immunity there, and then I started actually being able to lift heavy, and now I can exercise almost normally. Number 5, sweat. Okay, so this kind of goes back to heat sensitivity, but kind of not. It's kind of its own thing. For some reason, when sweat just sits on our skin, it helps create this bad bacteria, and that can flare some of us, or all of us, I don't know, probably not all of us, but it does me for sure. I seem to have like this 2-hour window, give or take. It's not exact, but like if I shower or I get really dry after working out, before like a 2-hour window or so, I don't flare. But like if I sit around and like I would exercise, let's just say I would sweat from pretty much anything because I was 350 pounds. All that sweat, if I like sat down to rest, after a while I would actually find a flare, like really easily, okay? So make sure you are staying dry, you're staying hydrated, and again, maybe a fan can help while you're working out. Back in the before time, I used to have to shower like 3 times a day. It was really bad, but yeah, that kind of leads up to this next one. Number 6, weight loss. Now I know you do not want to hear this, and I know this is going to trigger some people fiercely, but I just got to be honest. Now, while I want to start out by saying obesity does not cause HS in any way, okay? It does not. I know a lot of doctors the first thing they'll tell you, oh, you just need to lose weight, right? And yeah, sure, maybe we all need to lose a little weight, but it is not going to be the root cause of our hidradenitis suppurativa, our skin issues, right? And we know that. We all know that because there are a lot of people at all kinds of different weight fluctuations, and they have HS all the same. So if it was a common root cause, then of course everyone would be morbidly obese, right? Now, it can be a contributing factor. It can actually exacerbate the symptoms though, okay? And it can actually make you flare more often and more frequently, right? Because this kind of goes back to the sweating and the heat intolerance. When you're bigger, you happen to sweat more and easier, right? You have maybe some more creases, you have some more folds, you have maybe some more skin that's closer together, that rubs together a lot easier. I'm not telling you guys anything you don't already know, right? This is kind of obvious. Now, when I was 350 pounds, I found it incredibly hard to stay in remission. I found remission, but I couldn't stay in remission. Now, I was able to stay in remission after I lost the weight. I'm not saying it was the weight, but I'm saying it made it a whole lot easier, right? Of course, my diet is what led me to remission, so again, check out my other videos for that. But I do recommend you at least try to lose weight in a healthy way, in a slow way. Losing it too fast can actually flare you as well, because we have this toxic fat syndrome that those toxins stored in our fat will be released at a super fast-paced rate, and that actually can lead to other hormonal issues. And again, we know HS is a hormonal thing, so we don't want to press our luck. We don't want to completely ruin our adrenals and anything like that, okay? So make sure you do it in a slow, healthy manner. That's part of making a healthy lifestyle, right? And making healthier choices and habits over, bad ones, okay? This isn't a one-time thing. And again, guys, we didn't get this disease overnight, right? And so you're not going to heal it overnight. I'm not even saying it's going to be able to be cured at all. And maybe you just see some improvement. But like me, you might actually be able to find complete remission and not flare anymore, because that is amazing. I just want to tell you, there is some hope for you. I'm not saying it works for everybody, and for some people it takes a really long time. It can take a few years. If you do AIP for 6 months and you don't see any improvement in the first 6 months, then you should probably address other factors. Again, there could be mold in your house, there could be other toxins or factors. You just need to get with an expert. Make sure you don't have a parasite, make sure you don't have a small intestinal bacteria overgrowth or candida, or there's so many other issues, okay? But again, a lot of these are addressed by diet over time, all right? So you might not see improvement right away in the first 2 weeks, but just give it time, okay? Give it time. Stick with it, please. I talked to so many people, and the people that all found remission are the ones that they stayed with it for time. Some people it took over a year to see improvement, and then finally, after a few years, find remission. So now this disease is horrible, right? I know you are suffering tremendously. So is it worth it? Is a 3-year journey worth it to you? Is a 3-month journey worth it to you? Because it could take a matter of a month, or it could take a couple years, okay? So if it's that bad for you, you will stick with it and do it. I am so glad I didn't give up. Number 7, I'm going to trigger you again, but this is about surgery. Now, a lot of people ask me, Adam, should I get surgery? Have you had surgery? The answer to both of those is no, because there's only one good reason for you to get surgery. We'll talk about that in a second. But let's say you're having major flares and you're in stage 3, and getting surgery isn't going to stop the root cause. It's not going to address anything other than the shallow on the outside, right? Your shell, your skin. So there's really no reason to do it, because your flares are just going to come back. And most of the time I hear that they come back worse from the people that do get the surgeries, all right? Now, I know there's going to be people that say, oh, I got surgery and it's better. Yes, but unfortunately, within 3 years, it's probably going to come back even worse. So this isn't a long-term thing. If you want to do it and you're just wanting some temporary relief, okay, fine. But again, that isn't going to address any inflammation in your body, and it's probably going to make it worse, okay? So it's just anything that adds to stress on top of this, it's not a good thing, okay? So after you find improvement, after you find remission, maybe then that would be a good time to get surgery if you want to cover your scars, if you want to get rid of your scars. Again, to me, I don't look at them like a trophy though, because I do have them, but it's more like a good reminder. It's like I got my stripes, right? Why would I want to get rid of that? Look where I came from, right? Again, not something I'm proud of and I show off to anybody. Why would I do that? But to me, it's a great personal reminder. So maybe just hold back, maybe wait. And one more thing, let's call this a bonus tip. If you want to see what hygiene products I use, I will leave the link in the description for that as well. Sometimes that is a major thing for people, the hygiene products they use, using more natural hygiene products. A lot of chemicals in these products will actually flare you and cause triggers. So a lot of people are sensitive in different ways, right? Things they breathe in, things on their skin, what they eat. So it's something that you might have to address. If you found this video helpful, drop a like, smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. See you next time.